Alright, welcome to Belgrade Beat, and my guest today is Bojan, who is a subscriber from YouTube, who came to our meetup last week at Supernatural Bar and introduced himself as a nationalist, a Serbian nationalist, of course. Yeah, but
I live in Serbia.
You live in Serbia, in the nation of Serbia, yeah. But and this was very interesting to me because, you know, there is a lot that's coming through in the comments about this, that, fuck Albanians, fuck this, fuck that, even threatening beatings on me and stuff. But this guy actually decided to show his face at the meetup, and that led to an interesting conversation, and we decided based on that to have another interesting conversation here today. So welcome to Belgrade Beat.
Of course, thank you.
And first thing I wanted to ask you is, what does it mean to be a nationalist in Serbia in the 21st century?
In the 21st century, first we must explain terms should not be used lightly. Term empire and nation. Empires are multicultural. Empires are multinational, multi-ethnic, but nation, there exists two kinds of a nation. Natural nation and man-made artificial nation.
Okay.
I think the Serbian nation is very young. First nation was created in American Revolution, in French Revolution.
Okay, yeah.
Of course.
So the Serbian nation, but the Serbian narod, the
Serbian
people.
nation was created by uprisings against the Ottomans, against the Turks.
Yeah.
But I think the Serbian nation is not artificial like most are, because nation is based on language. Mm-hmm. That is the first thing.
Yep.
Language and the natural idea. Natural myth that exists in one idea to create,
which you can fit religion and history,
spirituality,
and
all the stuff. Spirituality in the first place, spiritual, not religion. Okay. I don't like the term religion. And I think the Serbian nation is natural in that sense of the word, because what do I mean by that? It has idea installed in its epic poetry.
Yeah,
and I have a book to show to you.
Okay.
I came with a backpack.
Okay, but just to start off lightly before we get into anything in depth, if you can sum it up in one sentence, what does it mean to be a Serbian nationalist in the 21st century?
This is a book of Serbian epic poetry.
Yeah.
Okay. And in Serbian epic poetry, which is very old, it is installed political idea, political theory, way of thinking, way of life, how a man should be, how a woman should be in the society, ethics, aesthetics, everything like that. It was passed down from father to son.
Which year? Which century do you think this was written in?
It doesn't have an age.
Okay.
It doesn't have an age. It was passed down from father to son.
Verbally. Okay, so it's a
illiterate people.
Yeah, illiterate people. Yeah.
Remembering thousands and thousands of lines of the words. An American, Newman Perry, was investigating that. And
okay.
He said
before we get into anything in depth, let's just talk about from the basics. Okay. So that's where you're coming from. From a great pride in your history of your nation and your people, culture, and all that stuff. I'm coming from a completely different mix of cultures. I'm from Canada. I'm part Ukrainian, part German from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and I decided this is the place to live. Why do you think a foreigner would decide to live in this country? What's so great about it? What do you think is great about this country from my perspective? Why do you think I want to live here?
Just because of that, because you're coming from, you said it yourself, from a multicultural nation, country, Canada, with a mixture of cultures, of influence and all that. I think that in Serbia you can find that kind of a stability,
a greater
in culture.
Maybe.
Yes, you can find yourself in the people based on culture and on those roots. People are more friendly to you. I don't know how to say that. You can make friends for the entire life.
Yeah,
I know you just 2 days, man. And I'm talking to you like with
exactly.
my friend, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was definitely a huge appeal, and I think that part of what makes Serbian people so able to be friendly and able to put themselves out there is that they know who they are.
Of course.
Right? They know why they exist on this part of the world.
They know who they are. I have another book. In last video I mentioned that I know my origin back to 13th century.
Yeah.
Here it is, book of my family's history.
Okay, and you said you're from Montenegro?
I am a Montenegrin Serb.
Okay.
From tribe of Vasević.
Okay.
Book is called Brotherhood of Babović.
Okay.
And I have marked the pages to show. Here it is, family trees.
Okay.
Okay. And of course there is a poetry of my famous warriors, knights of my family, first ancestors.
But if the tradition is oral and not written, how do you track this stuff?
There is a literature at the end of the book, mostly from the church.
From the church, yeah, because the church was where the central of written language was, with the old church, old church Slavonic language, and
yes. And
who was born, who died, whose father, etc.
Basically, there is my name also in this book, and there is also a list of every single father of mine, man from our family, from our tribe,
paternal family,
paternal side, who did battles, who was engaged in wars, in world wars, in battles against the Turks. And basically my name Babovici became like this. In one battle against the Turks, my ancestor, he was called Mato, and in battle duel, to decide who is going to win that battle duel, combat with a Turkish soldier. Turkish soldier had a horse and a sword, and he had only the sword and the spear. He dismounted him from the horse and finished him up with a sword. And Turks wanted to give that horse and the sword to him as a gift from a fallen Turkish soldier that he just killed. And he refused with these words: "If I had a food to feed a horse, I would have a horse. I would have a horse by it now. If the Turkish sword was better than mine, I will be dead. So I don't need it." Based on that sentence, Serbs, with the fighting against Ottomans, against all empires, conquered empires who were coming through Serbia, have managed to keep that culture with the fighting, with the sword.
Okay.
So I think that it is not fair to, I'm not engaging you, combating you, because you said that. It is not fair to me, to my ancestors, and to me, their blood, to say that Serbia is multicultural. Because we have lost so many our sacrifices to keep our culture were great, enormous.
Okay, so
here it is
let's say good. My family is from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. We were also very proud of every time we defeated the Turks with the help of the Serbian people.
Yes.
And then once the Turks disappeared, you know what happened. Serbia started World War I with Austria or whatever. But what I'm saying is we are both inheriting strong national histories from both of our, like my father's family is from Austro-Hungarian. I can trace my bloodlines in the aristocracy and all that stuff, going back to Germany in the 13th century and all that stuff. Same sort of deal, lots of pride. And isn't it amazing that we inherited these traditions? Now as us, men in the 21st century, how do we maintain those traditions? Like what is the course of action? Like, rather than, okay, it's amazing that all this history exists and all that, but we have a responsibility in our lives to uphold those traditions and values and to keep our culture somehow and its values. What do you do about that? What do you do in your life to hold the value of the Serbian culture? What do you do to make the community of Serbian people that you live in, what do you do to make the community stronger? What's your role and your mission in this life? You personally, what are you doing to do that?
That is basically very, very difficult thing to do nowadays in Serbia, because being a Serb, with the culture, with this history and all of that, you must know what it means to be a Serb.
Okay.
It means, it starts with respecting your village origin, farmer origin, because Serbs are all naturally farmers, and the village is basically destroyed nowadays in Serbia. It is very difficult to maintain the village.
Does that mean you shouldn't try?
Nowadays, and I come from the village.
Okay.
I'm peasant. Basically, I'm peasant, and I'm trying to maintain my family's heritage. How to say that, property.
The property, the traditions,
Yes, I'm trying that. It was very hard, and I'm now in the Belgrade trying to find a job to work. I was trying until my 26th year of my life. I was trying to do that, and it was difficult from year to year.
Yeah.
And
why is it so difficult?
Without that, I feel like I lost important thing.
Okay.
And here in Belgrade, I am in the sea, like without roots. without any kind of roots. I feel like
So your root is in the village, and this is the big city. It's confusing. There's lots of
yes.
too much going on.
I don't feel like a Serb here in Belgrade
Really, why not?
because of that.
Why?
Because of that. Because Belgrade is like a capital of former Yugoslavia. It is not a Serbian capital.
That's true.
That is,
Yes, but what is the Serbian capital if not Belgrade? And wasn't the vision of Serbia being a nation that extends into the whole area, and that Serbs would be leaders of Slovenians, Macedonians, Croatians, Bosnians in the 20th century? Wasn't that sort of the vision after World War I, that Serbs would be the leaders amongst these brother nations of Slavs?
no, it wasn't.
Okay.
Because Yugoslavia that was created after the World War I was Austro-Hungarian project.
Okay.
Do you know that Austro-Hungary in 1916, first thing to do after occupation under von Mackensen, after they attacked us from all sides,
Okay.
first thing to do was forbidding of Cyrillic.
Okay.
King Alexander Karađorđević
Yeah.
tried to do the same thing in 1929. He tried to exclude Cyrillic at all. Yugoslavia, from the beginning of that name, was Catholic Austro-Hungarian project.
Okay.
Croatians were favorized. They came out from Yugoslavia with territories they didn't ever have.
Yeah. Okay, so that was in the 90s, right? All right. But
Yes.
what about, okay, but what's the vision? Okay, what's your vision for Greater Serbia? What does that include? If, like, obviously Republika Srpska of Bosnia, you'd like to see that part of your country, right?
Of course.
But what, and in Croatia, the parts of Croatia, like Krajina, where the...
Kninska krajina, da.
Yeah.
Slavonia, very Jasenovac is.
Yeah. But what about these people of other, maybe not strictly speaking other ethnicities, because they're also Slavic, but other religions like Catholicism and Islam? What would you do with those people?
In Serbia there is a saying, expression, brat je mio ma koje vere bio. Dear is the brother no matter his faith.
Yeah.
Serbs were never oppressive and aggressive towards other religions, faiths and cultures. Never. Here in Serbia,
But do you think that the Austro-Hungarian Empire was oppressive towards other faiths?
yes. Because Austro-Hungarian was an empire. An
Okay,
empire
yes.
makes standards.
Yes.
Standards for everybody.
Yes.
Empires uniform nations and cultures and countries. They make uniforms. They
this for a second.
assimilate nations.
Hold this. I'm just checking the cameras. Keep on talking.
Okay. Empires assimilate nations, right? And Austro-Hungarian was pure example of that. Austro-Hungary.
Okay, so what was so oppressive about the Austro-Hungarian Empire?
What I want to say, not just Austro-Hungarian Empire. I think that empires, even long after, they have two phases. They have expansive phase. Empires could not exist without conquering, without expanding. And they have the second phase, which is more conservative, when empires start
Contracting,
falling
yeah.
down on itself,
Yeah.
on its head. And even after falling down, empires survive through systems.
Yeah.
And they survive and got to see the light of the day in different forms.
Okay.
It is not called Austro-Hungary anymore. Nowadays it is
European
called
Union.
Pax Americana, European Union.
Yeah.
Europe is frontier of the Pax Americana Empire.
And you can see that the first countries to be taken from Central European Slavic countries are the Slavic countries are the ones that historically played a role in the European Union. So they naturally had a historical
Yes.
legacy of cooperating with the Austro-Hungarian and Prussian empires. So those were the first, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Slovenia, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Poland were the first to join the European Union, and then it's like, we don't know about Serbia because it's just an extension of history. The European Union is some sort of extension of the Austro-Hungarian
Of course.
Empire and all that stuff. Of course,
Everything is.
and that's obvious. But I mean, okay, if the European Union is not the way forward for Serbia, what do you think the way forward for Serbia? How do you make this country how do you make progress in this country? If you were the president or prime minister of Serbia today, what changes would you make in the political system, the education system, and so on and so forth, so that this country could go forward and life could become better here?
Yes, of course, education system, because empires that are conquering, they do it by extermination of particular people, deletion of nations and cultures, and by education or re-education. education in Serbia should be multidimensional. It shouldn't be like specialized, anything like that. Problems cannot be solved with specializacije, kako se kaže.
Yeah, specialized. The problem is general.
General. Problem is general, and it must have a multidimensional approach.
Yeah.
And the main approach from solving problems in Serbia comes from the culture, because Serbian culture and view of the world is not accepted anywhere. Our religion, pravoslavlje, is under attack. Our tradition of Slava isn't anywhere. It exists only here. In European Union, those things do not exist.
But economically, because the biggest problem people have here is economical problem. Economics. How would you improve that? Because from my perspective, I am a business owner and entrepreneur.
Yes.
I operate internationally across borders, working on the internet. And what I see here as the issue is that there are not enough people stepping up to be leaders in business. There's not enough education, that there's a legacy from the socialist time, which is believing in the system, believing that if you go to this fucking faculty over here and get a piece of paper with your name on it, that entitles you to a good life.
Yes.
And there's not enough people who are like, no, I'm going to approach this head on and provide solutions, provide a living, provide jobs for people in me and my community. The socialist system left people without those skills, without the vision and without the leadership skills to actually take responsibility for their life and that of those, and that's where you get the victim mentality. That's where you get people saying, oh, I'm from Serbia, I can't do anything, I can't blah 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 blah. No, you can do something. You can stand on the corner as you see them with raspberries, buy them for 100 dinars, sell them for 150, and at the end of the day, that's an example.
I was doing that.
Exactly.
I was going in Belgrade selling cheese, kaimak,
all that stuff.
Sear, all that stuff.
Exactly. And that's where you start.
Slanina.
That's how you learn business, because people here are turning down jobs for 400 euros a month because that's not enough money. Why should I work for 400 euros a month and go to an office in the day? Bullshit. You need to start step by step, building your skills in life and provide value and opportunities for the people around you, and then slowly you build it. That's my sort of like free market capitalist view of the world, is that everybody has to take responsibility for their own habits on a daily basis, waking up and doing something that benefits the people around them, and then things get better really quickly. But I see a lot of people making excuses for that, and the excuses people have for that is always this victim mentality. That, oh, this person does this and there's no chance for this. So you make the fucking chance. I had no fucking chance to start a business on the internet. Guess what I did? I fucking sent emails to people in England telling them I'm living in Serbia and I want to work for them from here, until some of them said yes. And now we have a business, and now I have people who I'm working with, who I've provided an opportunity for, working on 3 different continents.
Yes.
You know, and it all comes from trying, and people here stop themselves from trying with this victim mentality, and that's the biggest problem. For me, what I see in this society. And the biggest problem is economics, what people complain about, and the solution is try more things, be a leader, be an entrepreneur, try stuff. You're going to fail a bunch of time, but you want to fail as fast as possible, because if you fail again and again, and all the things you learn from that, eventually you will have a success. That's my message.
And problem in that here, there is a system of the people, very few number of people who have decision over a life for that. And that is from communism, from Communist Party and all of that. Being member of the party was being like a member of the church.
Yeah, okay, but like,
you know, and
specifically in the internet economy.
30 years, nobody was in prison for stealing from grey economy for anything.
Yeah.
For anything.
Yeah, well, do you think people should be in prison?
People here are robbed.
Yeah, by who?
They
by
are
themselves.
robbed blind.
By their own system.
By the system.
Okay.
By the people running the system. And basically those people are mediocres. They are people picked from the street.
Well, okay,
they don't have a calling name.
Well, who would you support as a politician who could lead this country?
Not like politician. People
no, but who would you support as a leader of this country, intellectually or something like that?
Everything in Serbia is anti-Serbian. Intellectual elite, political elite, economy. Everything is anti-Serbian, and that comes from that communism from Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia basically was anti-Serbian Austro-Hungarian project.
Okay, but come on. Why is there so little leadership that is fitting in your idea of what is Serbian and what the values should be?
Serbs were following communism and Tito. Who you follow, you become. Tito was until 1943 in Comintern. He was introducing himself as Friedrich Walter. He was German.
Okay, so what's an example? What's an example of a country like? What do you think of Russia and their political system? Would you like to see more like that here? What do you think of Putin as a leader?
No.
Do you think Serbia should have a leader like that?
I don't think about Russia at all.
Okay.
I think about Serbia.
Okay.
Only about Serbia.
So what's the way forward?
The way forward is a reviving of agriculture in Serbia.
Okay.
Serbia has the greatest potential for agriculture.
Yes.
Greater potential.
This country produces more food than it can eat.
We could feed it entire Europe.
And this is
half of the Europe.
This is what I always tell people. At least everybody I know has a place to sleep because family values are strong, and something to eat. And that's a really good starting point for a culture and a nation to go forward. And if people can just realize how wealthy they are already because they have a place to sleep, and because they have something to eat, and because they have family values, and because they have history, and because they have friends, and because they have a sense of spirituality and strength. Yeah, that's a good place to go. So the situation, but all I hear is tužna priča, non-stop tužna priča. And the first thing that needs to change in Serbia is this tužna priča in the mind. No, you have something to eat, you have a place to stay. Thank God for that. Wake up in the morning and be grateful for that, and then decide what are the next steps to build your life, to make life for you and the people around you better. Don't wake up and at 11 o'clock in the morning smoke cigarettes all day, drinking coffee, talking about how fucking shitty your life is. That goes nowhere. It's just things are going to stay as shitty as you think they are. But if you wake up and say, thank God that this wonderful land, which is Serbia, has given me this food. Thank God that my culture has given me this family and this community that I'm born in, and I'm going to take it upon myself to stand up and build something in the community, be a leader, and all this stuff. Then the country will get better really quickly.
Of course, we need leaders.
Yes.
That is exactly the point.
Every country does. But it's...
about leaders of our own.
Yes, exactly. The point is that the national self-esteem, if I can say that, the self-esteem of the Serbian nation was defeated.
That means being a nationalist. That is what means being a nationalist.
Okay, but the fundamental idea that I wanted to talk about, have you heard of a professor called Jordan Peterson in Canada? Because I'd like to introduce you to his work. And basically, some of these ideas are coming from him because I was watching his videos about nationalism yesterday. So the fundamental idea, which can be considered racist in the world, is that there's a bigger difference between groups of people than there are to the individuals within it. So what it comes down to is that since I'm Serbian and all my other Serbians, we are greater than other nations. You're sort of not taking into account the difference in individuals in a country. But I think you understand this, that there are some people in this country who are really good people who are really working to build something here. And there are some people who are really weak and destroying the nation, and that every nation. And so I would suggest that it's more valid to look at, people as individuals in the world. More valid to look at people as individuals and then look at what they build together as a nation, as a sum of individuals, rather than just looking at my nation versus this nation. Because if you think that all Chinese people are the same, and that there's no difference between different Chinese people, then you're just cutting yourself off from, like, if you go to China, you'll see there's fat people, skinny people, smart people, dumb people, farmers, city people, all this stuff. And so you sort of have to look outside of the idea of the nation to look for this solution. And I'm an internationalist, actually. I'm not a nationalist. I believe that there's great stuff all over the world.
Internationalism is ideology of communism.
No. Communism is an ideology that says that there needs to be a system, and that there's a system. It's also a sort of nationalism, but it puts the values of a system.
Communism has a left and right wing.
Yeah.
And left wing is like that. Left wing is internationalist.
Okay.
Is internationalist.
But the key thing of communism is the ideology above all. right? The ideology is something that goes above all, and the classism is a huge part of the way the communism, like, okay, in right-wing politics, nationalism, it's like, my nation is great and people who are not of my nation are bad. In communism, they put that on the social class. They put it like, my social class, the workers are good and the elite are bad. And so to organize people in a political sphere like that, to play group identity politics, you need to take people and you need to organize them. You are in our group, and there is the other, and we are fighting against the other. So communists do it by class, and nationalisms do it by ethnicity and race and stuff like that, nationality and stuff like that. So it's the same sort of psychology. It's group psychology where you put the power of the group above the individual.
That is exactly the thing I was trying to say to you all this time. Serbian nation, Serbs have never attacked anyone. We never attacked a nation in our history. When? Point me. If you know better than I do. When we ever attacked some nation? When?
Well, there was
in history.
Okay.
Say to me.
Well, okay. Well, you can call it a provocation, but the assassination which triggered World War I was a provocation which led to an attack and retaliation.
I have different sources which informations about that event.
But okay,
it was British Secret Services doing that thing.
Oh, really? Let's not go into
all
this.
Organizations having word young in their name, young Bosnia, young Albania, young Bulgaria, are under British control.
Okay.
Vatican's control in the end. That is Anglo-Saxon
I haven't heard that.
Vatican alignment.
There's not enough time to convince me of that now, but it could be true. I don't know.
Of course,
but my point is like, okay, so but again, you're giving a victim story that we never attacked anyone. We were always the victim.
Never.
Okay, but imagine you grow bigger, stronger. You will. As a nation, you will. As a nation. So this is the thing. As a nation, you will.
If I may again.
Okay.
I was speaking about natural national idea and artificial. Serbs have this natural idea which I was talking about in epic poetry and all that. Based on natural idea, we will never be a race of conquerors, of attackers of others.
Yeah.
Never in history. We only want, as far as our language and national meat goes. That is, if that is too much to ask, I don't know what it is.
Okay, but
many nations in Europe, almost all.
But it gets really complicated when you're talking about Bosnians and Croats, where those are people who you view as your same blood, but departed from your national narrative.
All European nations have only imperialistic ideas, because they don't have natural idea. Germans tried with Aryanhood.
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit,
that is not
isn't it? Yeah.
Natural idea. Germans tried with Siegfried and Brunhilde and Nibelung and all of that. It was a man-made idea all the time.
Because the reality
in America, you have Hollywood.
There is no pure.
Hollywood is national myth.
There is
Batman,
no pure
Superman.
nation. Yeah.
There is no a pure idea like in Serbia. It exists in epic poetry that was passed down from father to son, from generation to generation. Without instrument called gusle, singing that epic poetry, we wouldn't be no more. I would be right here sitting and talking to you as a Serbian person.
Okay.
There wouldn't be no Serbia. Egregor, collective mind.
That's a beautiful thing, and you should continue it. Do you play that instrument?
Yes, a little bit, but I have it in my home.
Moving forward in the 21st century, how would you protect your culture from more corruption? You know that there's lots of corruption in the government here. There's lots of how do you protect it from more? Is it going back to the village, going back to the values, the agriculture, and starting from there, and to the religion or the spirituality of your national story, or what is it? Yes. How do you stop it?
We must regain agriculture, because agriculture and village always produced not just food. It produced people who love their nation and country because they are working the lands.
Yeah.
It produced soldiers to defend Serbia.
Yeah.
Who was defending Serbia all this time? And that is what communists destroyed. Communists created citizens. They separated citizen from a nationalist and from villager, from peasant. in communist times, communist era,
Yes.
citizen is someone unconscious individual without roots, without sense of belonging to something greater, with no respect for the nature. Only thing the citizen, communist citizen, knows about is living in the city and working in the factory.
Yeah.
That is the only thing
And
he knows
destroyed
about.
that from ideology.
And he despises,
from an ideology.
Yes, from communism. That comes from communism.
Okay.
And he, communist citizen, he despises peasant. He despises his own nation.
And they have to lock people up and possibly kill people to keep that system going.
I didn't say that.
No, it's true. If you look at the Soviet Union, the Ukrainian,
Communists were doing that.
Ukrainian famine.
Yes.
Ukrainians really have a huge thing about that because so many millions of their people died because of Stalinist policies.
Yes.
And what
That
came
was
before and after
re-education. That was re-education, forceful re-education of
based
the
on
people.
ideology.
Based on ideology. People were treated like little children. Party was both mother and father. You were an orphan.
And that's what's really dangerous.
You were an orphan. That is what is dangerous. Serbian society is, in that sense of the word, what I was talking about, is destroyed. If we must get back our mother and father, which is our origin, get back to agriculture, rebuild it because it is absolutely destroyed. Villages are deserted. At the time I was going to elementary school, it was 20 children in one class. Now 2 classes are joined together with only 10 children.
Okay.
We don't need 10 children.
What kind of economic system would you institute to make this going back to the land, agriculture? What kind of...
we had institutions of Zadruga.
Okay, what's that?
Zadruga is now a reality show. It is not a coincidence, it is mockery of that institution. Zadruga is kind of a collective agriculture.
Yeah.
Collective.
Have you heard of the kibbutz system in Israel?
Yes, it is the same thing.
Okay.
It is absolutely the same thing. That is that. I'm speaking about that kind of economy.
Because that was actually, yeah, it's like a cooperative. It would be the word in English.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But also, like, the kibbutz system is sort of portrayed as a socialist ideology, but on a very small scale.
Of course.
I've been to a kibbutz in Israel, by the way, and it was very welcoming and nice, and everybody, it's like a circle built around, and everybody goes to eat in the center of the town hall where all the food that they made is brought together, that they share with all the... Yeah.
Yes. And of course, communism almost forbid private businesses here in Serbia during Yugoslavia.
Yeah. But not as much as the Soviet system.
Not as much as in Croatia and in Slovenia.
Okay.
There it was allowed, but in Serbia it wasn't. For example, stomatologist. Is that the word in English?
Yes. Dentist?
Dentist.
Yeah.
There was only one private dentist in Serbia during Yugoslavia in Serbia, but in Croatia you had lots.
Okay.
Lots. One example.
Why did they stop that in Serbia?
There is this program from Serbia, different kind of program from Serbia for the future of this country, and that goes to empires. That goes to a system of the empires who wanted to conquer Serbia ever since.
Okay, so what do you feel is happening
Ever
now?
since.
What I really wanted to get from this conversation is what can, say you're 20 years old.
20.
No, you're not. You're not. You're how old are you?
28.
So you're 28. You've had this past 8 years of your experience, and you want to tell the 20-year-old self of yourself what he can do to start building Serbia. I'm 35, and I'm in this part of this life where I am building my life, and I am helping people around me. But what can somebody who's 20, in their 20s, do to build the future of Serbia? And what's the best way, if you think that this country is occupied by foreign powers and stuff like that,
Yes.
what's the best way to stick the middle finger to that and go on with Serbia proper?
If I'm allowed to say that word, it is a sort of an ideology of Chetnik guerrilla fighting.
You can say whatever you want,
Because I come from Chetnik family,
Okay.
World War II and all of that.
Yeah.
And Chetniks are demonized, satanized, and I'm almost not allowed to say that word in public.
Okay.
But I say it proudly.
Well, if people have watched 35 minutes of this already, then they probably want to hear the real truth of what you have to say. So, yeah, go on.
And basically, we must organize like guerrilla in those days. Because, as you have said, foreign powers are all around here. Companies, Croatian companies are running wild in Serbia.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the economic
American
creation?
culture, Europeization, westernization of Serbian population is running wild.
But okay, this is my opinion on that. You don't need to make war because that will not work. That will never work. Believe me, you will be
Economic guerrilla.
economic.
Yes.
Guerrilla. Okay, that's a different idea.
That is what you were saying.
You want to support local products. You want to support local businesses. This is why I really enjoy spending my money. I bring money from the United Kingdom.
Yes.
Bank transfer to Serbia, where I take out money in dinars from the bank, go to the piazza, hand it to the people who are selling the food there that I know is local, fresh, and that makes me feel really good.
Can I say something to you? You are economic chetnik.
I support, but I also am a little bit of a internationalist, so I do buy the stuff I can't get here, like for example rice. I buy from other companies, like coconut oil comes from the Philippines. Yes. I buy that and stuff. I'm not out of principle. I just think that Serbian products are better, and that there's a lot of good products here. And I really appreciate the fact that, like in Canada, everything was Monsanto, genetically modified,
yes,
and stuff like that. Here, I feel it's real food, and I prefer buying from the piazza because it's better than the crap they have in Maxi. It's better than all this stuff. I like talking to the people, looking at the stuff, comparing, and the flavors are amazing, and I feel good about investing and bringing money in this country and giving it to actual real people rather than the supermarket.
Yes.
But I still buy food from the supermarket for stuff they don't have at the piazza.
And there is a danger here in Serbia, not in GMO. There is no GMO in Serbia, but there is more and more farmers doing agriculture. Less and less farmers doing agriculture in
traditional
Serbia. And traditional farmers, and farmers themselves in Serbia became very lazy. They are doing everything now with machines. They are spraying.
Okay.
They are spraying a lot, and that is dangerous.
But I don't think the answer is organic standard. Maybe there should be another standard that says that this is traditional Serbian agriculture, because organic standard is another one where you just pay and they give you the certificate, whatever,
Yes.
And it's an international standard that's very expensive to implement, but I don't know, there should be some way to know that this is traditional Serbian food.
We must get back to traditional Serbian ways of agriculture. One of the ways, my family, in my village, my neighbors, we had our own seeds for everything.
Yeah.
For
that's good.
Vegetables,
that's really good.
From weeds, for grains, grains, yes, corn. We had our own seeds. We didn't buy seeds from companies. Every year, my grandfather takes grains, and he uses some kind of old machine
to get the seeds. Yeah.
To get the seeds for the next year.
And do you use chemical fertilizers?
Yes, of course.
You use chemicals?
No, not.
No.
We didn't use, but we are now almost forced, because there is no more our own seeds.
Yeah.
We are forced to buy seeds nowadays.
But they're not genetically modified.
They're not genetically modified, but nevertheless we are buying it from the companies.
Shit. And they're imported from, okay.
Mostly they are imported because in Serbia you have importation lobby.
Yeah.
Everything in Serbia, 80% is importation. There is no export.
So I would say that food is the biggest issue. That if you lose your traditional food, because this country has all the land to grow enough food for everybody in this country and beyond.
And that is irony. That is the irony of the thing.
That's an irony of it, but I would say that the greatest front on which to fight this battle is the food, actually. If you want to battle for your culture, your traditions, your people, and your economic ability to provide for yourself, food is the one to focus on, because
food and water.
And what? Yeah.
In my own village.
Yeah.
Every house has its own source of the water, natural. We dig it with our own hands.
I mean, because the conversation is ending very much like the conversation that I had with Serjan from Supernatural Bar, the owner of the.
Yes.
You can watch that, and it's all about food. And I want this country to keep its food.
It is.
Because I grew up in Canada, where everything is on a truck from Latin America for 3 days, and you eat it. The vegetables taste like plastic because they're genetically modified and chemical fertilized and pesticide and all that crap. And you can buy organic, but it costs 3 times as much money. And food here is still good, and there's a chance to save it.
And there is a reason for that, because with every Serb guy, conversation ends with the food and the agriculture in the village. There is a reason for that. I mentioned in the last video that we are rakia, of course, with
The
rakia.
end result is rakia.
End result. And I mentioned in the last video that we are some kind of a proto-Indo-European people, that we have roots in proto-Indo-European people and language, Sanskrit. We are a proto-Indo-European social strata of farmers and warriors.
Yeah.
And that is why every conversation with Serbian people ends with agriculture.
And war.
Subconsciously or unconsciously.
Interesting.
War, battles. Do you see how Serbs experience national victories of their teams in sports and stuff like that, celebrating in the streets?
It's amazing,
we experience that like a battle won.
Yeah, exactly. That's the closest thing you have when there's no
like
war.
Soldiers, yes.
And I have one friend from Canada who was here many times with me for months at a time, and he said that he gets the feeling that Serbia is a military nation, and the people are just waiting for the next orders.
Yes. Orders and victories and victories.
And there are no,
we are national victors, battle victors, and gatherings around the National Assembly after the victories.
stop being a nation of victims.
And be national victors.
Victors, not victims.
Pobedniks. We are national
pobedniks.
victors. Pobedniks, of course. That is what I was saying, not victims, but victors.
Okay.
And we hate our teams when they lose. We absolutely hate them. We adore them when they win, but we can stand defeat. Because we experience defeat in sports as defeat in battle. Because after defeat in battle, you have disaster. Occupier comes to steal your lands, steal your women, steal your children, to slaughter you, to kill you, whatever, you know. And we experience losses in sports like that.
Okay,
I wanted
to ask you a question.
Warriors and farmers.
Have you read Čuti Srbi by Archibald Rice?
Yes, of course.
Okay, what do you think of his work?
I think that a foreigner who investigates a particular nation and culture, he is going to explain that nation in the best way than Serb will explain his own nation. Okay,
wait a second, we have card full here. Okay, folks. Hang on, 1 second. Yeah, we're out of... they can still hear us through the camera here, so let's just finish this interview. Maybe we'll do another one later, depending on how people react to this. We'll do a follow-up.
If we finish it, I have a gift for you.
Okay. So we're finishing this. The card is full of thing, but we get to finish this like this. And thank you very much for the interview.
Of course, nothing. You're welcome.
I didn't expect it was going to be that long, but yeah, cool. All right, good.
Okay, I had systematization in my head, but when I start conversation it gets a little bit like chaotic, and I'm sorry if I was chaotic in the conversations, and I have a gift for Eric here.
Okay.
With a Serbian peasant always ends up with rakia.
Okay.
So you have my own brew from last year.
Thank you, Šljiva.
Plum, Šljivovica, of course.
Yeah.
It is my own brew.
Yeah.
And you have something called slatko. Do you know what slatko is? Cherry slatko.
Okay, so it's like a jam?
It is not like a jam. It doesn't exist translation in English. It is slatko, basically.
Okay.
It is something you get as an aperitif.
Thank you.
In Serbian house.
I'll check it out.
Yes.
I haven't tried it. And thank you very much.
You have this. It is cherry cake. Very simple and easy to make, but it is delicious. You can try it.
Thank you very much. I don't eat this type of food until Sunday, but maybe tomorrow
cherry cake.
I will eat it or something if you can give it.
We can have rakia for the end of the video if you want.
Maybe.
If you are for rakia.
No, I'm trying not to drink alcohol this weekend to just level out. So I will take it as a gift and drink it maybe next time.
You are going to have rakia. You can't refuse, sir.
Okay, let's do this.
You can't refuse.
All right. Yeah.
Just get the glasses.
Okay.
There they are. There they are. I always go in number 3.
Okay.
One from truth, one from love, one from justice. Only training case.
Yeah, I drink with my father in Canada. I brought these back for him so he can drink from it. Like we think that he's from his family's from Slovakia, and we think that Serbian rakia is better than the one from Slovakia.
Of course, that it is. It is Serbian drink.
Well,
Okay.
cheers. Thanks for the
Živeli, man.
interview.
Of
Živeli.
course. Goodbye.
Oh, excellent.
Stay healthy. Živo zdravo.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video of Belgrade Beat. Ciao. La 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 la.